Hello dear students, myself CMA Padmaja Buzruk. I will discuss auditing. Go to study note number 7, provision relating to audit under Companies Act. I will discuss unpaid dividend account, section 124, transfer of unpaid dividend to a separate account. Where a dividend has been declared by a company but has not been paid or claimed within 30 days from the date of the declaration to any shareholder entitled to the payment of dividend, then the company shall, within 7 days from the date of expiry of the said period of 30 days, transfer the total amount of dividend which remains unpaid or unclaimed to a special account to be opened by the company in that behalf in any scheduled bank to be called the unpaid dividend account. If a company declares dividend and if it has not been paid by the company or some part of it has not been paid by the company, and if some of the shareholders have not claimed it within 30 days from the date of declaration of dividend, then the company within 7 days from the expiry of the period of 30 days of declaration of dividend transfer the total amount of dividend which remains unpaid or unclaimed to a separate account called unpaid dividend account. Information about unpaid dividend on company's website. The company shall within a period of 90 days of making any transfer of an amount under subsection 1 to the unpaid dividend account prepare a statement containing the names, their last known addresses and the unpaid dividend to be paid to each person and place it on the website of the company if any, and also on any other website approved by central government for this purpose in such form and manner and other particulars as may be prescribed. So once the company transfers unpaid dividend or unclaimed dividend to unpaid dividend account, then within the period of 90 days of making such transfer, company displays this on the website of the company. Company prepares a statement which contains names of the persons who have not claimed the dividend or to whom the dividend has not been paid, their last known address, the amount of unpaid dividend which is to be paid to each person, that is shareholders. And this statement it places on the company's website or any other website which is approved by central government for this purpose, and it is to be displayed in such form and in such manner and giving such particulars as are prescribed by central government. Effect of non-transfer. If any default is made in transferring the total amount referred to in subsection 1 or any part thereof to the unpaid dividend account of the company, it shall pay from the date of such default interest on so much of the amount as has not been transferred to the said account at the rate of 12% per annum, and interest accruing on such amount shall be used to the benefit of members of the company in proportion to the amount remaining unpaid to them. If company makes any default in transferring the unpaid and unclaimed dividend to unpaid dividend account, then the company is supposed to pay interest at the rate of 12% per annum from the date of default on the amount which has not been transferred to unpaid dividend account, and if any interest is accruing on such amount, it is to be used for the benefit of members, that is shareholders, in proportion of the amount which is outstanding, which is not paid, which is unpaid to them. Transfer of unclaimed dividend and also shares to investor protection fund. Any money transferred to the unpaid dividend account of a company in pursuance of this section which remains unpaid or unclaimed for a period of 7 years from the date of such transfer shall be transferred by the company along with interest accrued, if any, thereon to the fund established under section 125 subsection 1, and the company shall send a statement in prescribed form of details of such transfer to the authority which administers the said fund, and that authority shall issue a receipt to the company as evidence of such transfer. All shares in respect of which dividend has not been paid or claimed for 7 consecutive years or more under subsection 5 shall also be transferred by the company in the name of Investor Education and Protection Fund along with a statement containing such details as may be prescribed. So if dividend has not been claimed or if the dividend is unpaid, it is to be transferred to unpaid dividend account. If it remains in that account for a period of 7 years from the date of transfer, then that amount of unclaimed dividend along with accrued interest is to be transferred to Investor Education and Protection Fund which is established by central government. Company should send a statement along with the transfer of funds in prescribed form giving full particulars about the name of shareholders, their addresses, last known address, unpaid dividend, interest accrued against each and every shareholder to the authority which administers the fund, and after receiving the transfer of amount the authority issues a receipt to the company as evidence of such transfer. When the dividend has not been paid on shares or it has not been claimed by shareholders for 7 consecutive years or more, then these shares also get transferred to Investor Education and Protection Fund. So this also to be transferred to the fund along with statement giving details required which are prescribed by central government. Provided that any claimant of shares transferred above shall be entitled to claim the transfer of shares from Investor Education and Protection Fund in accordance with such procedure and on submission of such documents as may be prescribed. So person can claim his shares as well as dividend from the fund on submission of such documents and in accordance with such procedure which is prescribed by central government. If a company fails to comply with any of the requirement of this section, then the company shall be punishable with fine which shall not be less than 5 lakh rupees but which may extend to 25 lakh rupees, and every officer of the company who is in default shall be punishable with fine which shall not be less than 1 lakh rupees but which may extend to 5 lakh rupees. So if company fails to comply with requirement of this section, then company is punishable with fine which ranges from 5 lakhs to 25 lakhs, and officer of the company who is in default shall also be punishable with fine which ranges from 1 lakh to 5 lakh rupees. Investor Education and Protection Fund section 125. The central government shall establish a fund to be called the Investor Education and Protection Fund. there shall be credited to the fund. That means following only shall be credited to the fund: the amount given by central government by way of grant after due appropriation made by the parliament by law in this behalf for being utilized for the purpose of the fund. So grant given by central government to be credited to fund. Donations given by central government, state government, company or any other institution for the purpose of fund to be credited to fund. Amount of unpaid dividend account of companies transferred to the fund under subsection 5 of section 124. If the amount remains unclaimed in unpaid dividend account for the period of 7 years of transfer, then it gets transferred to the fund, Investor Education and Protection Fund. The amount in general revenue account of central government which had been transferred to that account under subsection 5 of section 205A of Companies Act 1956 as it stood immediately before commencement of Companies Amendment Act 1999 and remaining unpaid or unclaimed on the commencement of this act. So before commencement of the Companies Act 2013, as per Companies Act 1956 and Amendment Act 1999, if any amount of dividend is unclaimed, then it is to be transferred to general revenue account of central government. Now, if any amount is remaining in that account which has been unclaimed or unpaid at the time of commencement of this act, that also gets transferred to Investor Education and Protection Fund. The amount laying in the Investor Education and Protection Fund under Section 205C of Company Act 1956. So, the amount which is laying in Investor Education Protection Fund as per Companies Act 1956. This is also for unclaimed and unpaid dividend that also can get transferred to Investor Education and Protection Fund account. The interest or other income received out of investments made from the fund. If the amount is transferred to the fund is invested in outside securities and interest and dividend or other income is received on that, that also gets credited to the fund. The amount received under subsection 4 of section 38. So this section is amount received through disgorgement, that is funds received through illegal or unethical business transactions or disposal of securities, that also gets credited to the fund. The application money received by companies for allotment of any securities and due for refund. Company has received application money, but allotment has not been made. Application money has not been refunded, which is due for refund, can also get transferred to the fund. Mature deposit with companies other than banking companies, mature debentures with companies. So this remains with the company because it has not been claimed by the debenture holder or by the person who has kept deposit with the company. Then it gets transferred to Investor Education and Protection Fund. Interest accrued on the amount referred to in clause H to J, that is on application money received by company which has not been refunded, matured deposit with the companies, matured debentures with the companies. If any interest is accrued on that, that also gets transferred to Investor Education and Protection Fund. Sale proceed of fractional shares arising out of issuance of bonus shares, merger and amalgamation for 7 or more years. If fractional shares have been issued in case of merger amalgamation, then and in case of sale of those shares, that amount also gets credited to the fund. Redemption of preference shares remaining unpaid or unclaimed for 7 or more years. So if company has redeemed preference shares and some of the preference share capital if has not been claimed for 7 or more years, then it gets transferred to the fund. such other amount as may be prescribed, provided that no such amount referred to in clause H2J shall form part of the fund unless such amount has remained unclaimed and unpaid for a period of 7 years from the date it became due for payment. H2J, that is application money received which has not been refunded, matured deposits with company other than banking companies which has not been repaid, and matured debentures with the companies. It is to be transferred only after completion of 7 years from date of due date. The fund shall be utilized for education, awareness and protection. The refund in respect of unclaimed dividend, matured deposits, matured debentures, the application money due for refund and interest thereon, promotion of investors, distribution of any discharged amount, funds received through illegal or unethical business transaction among eligible and identifiable applicants for shares or debentures, shareholders, debenture holders or depositors who have suffered losses due to wrong action by any person in accordance with orders made by the court which had ordered disgorgement. So, for these purposes only, the fund amount can be utilized for education, awareness, then for refunding unclaimed dividend, matured deposit, matured debentures, for refunding application money, interest accrued thereon. Then, supposing if any discharged amount is there, that is, which the amount which has been received through unethical or illegal business, distribution of the same among eligible and identifiable applicants for shares, debentures, debenture holders, shareholders, etc., who have suffered loss due to wrong action of any person. And this is to be distributed in accordance with the orders made by court which had ordered disgorgement. Reimbursement of legal expenses incurred in pursuing class action suit under section 37 and 245 by members, debenture holders, depositors as may be sanctioned by tribunal. So if any legal action suit has been filed by members, debenture holders, depositors, and if any legal expenses are reimbursed to them, then the fund can be utilized. Any other purpose incidental thereto in accordance with such rules as may be prescribed. So for any other similar purpose for which rules are prescribed by central government, for those purposes also fund can be utilized, provided that the person whose amount referred to in clauses A to D of subsection 2 of section 205C transferred to Investor Education and Protection Fund after the expiry of period of 7 years as per provision of Companies Act 56 shall be entitled to get refund out of fund in respect of such claims in accordance with rules made under this section. That is, if the unclaimed dividend or any amount has been transferred to the fund as per the provisions of Companies Act 56, then that person shall be entitled to get refund in accordance with the rules made under this section. Authority to administer the funds. The central government shall constitute by notification an authority for administration of fund consisting of a chairperson and such other members not exceeding 7 and a chief executive officer and as the central government may appoint. So, the authority for administration of fund is constituted by central government by notification in the official gazette which consists of one chairperson and other persons or other members not exceeding 7 and one CEO, that is chief executive officer. Any person claiming to be entitled to amount referred to in subsection 2 may apply to the authority constituted under subsection 5 for the payment of money claimed. So if any person wants to get refund from the fund, if he then in that case he has to apply to the authority which is constituted by central government for refund of the fund, for refund of the money from the fund. Administration and procedure of the fund. The manner of administration of fund, appointment of chairperson, members and chief executive officer, holding of meeting of the authority shall be in accordance with such rules as may be prescribed. So central government prescribes the rules for manner of administration of fund, appointment of chairperson, members, CEO, how many meetings to be held of for the funds, etc. The central government may provide to the authority such offices, officers, employees, and other resources in accordance with such rules as may be prescribed. Central government prescribes the rules for providing officers, offices, employees, and other resources to the authority. The authority shall administer the fund and maintain separate account and other relevant records in relation to the fund in such form as may be prescribed after consultation with Controller and Auditor General of India. Now the authority shall administer the funds. They will maintain separate accounts, records in relation to funds in such form which is prescribed by central government and after consultation with CAG of India. It shall be competent for authority constituted under subsection 5 to spend money out of fund for carrying out the objects specified in subsection 3. So the money to be utilized out of the fund, money to be spent out of the fund only for carrying out the objects which are specified in subsection 3. Books of accounts. The accounts of fund shall be audited by Controller and Auditor General of India at such intervals as may be specified by him, and such audited accounts together with the audit report thereon shall be forwarded annually by the authority to the central government. Accounts of the fund shall get audited by CAG and audit report to be forwarded by CAG to the central government. The authority shall prepare in such form and at such time for each financial year as may be prescribed its annual report. So authority will prepare annual report giving full account of its activities during financial year, and authority will forward copy of this annual report to central government, and central government shall cause the annual report and audit report given by the CAG to be laid before each house of parliament. So annual report received from authority as well as audit report received from CAG will be laid by central government before each house of parliament. In this particular video we have seen unpaid dividend account and investor education and protection fund. Thank you.